Hidden across our planet are places where nature pushes the limits. Lands shaped by chaos, danger, and raw power. These are the most dangerous places you should never visit. Welcome to Lost Beyond the Map. In the far northeast of Ethiopia lies one of the most extreme environments on Earth, the Danakil Desert. Covering over 137,000 square kilometers, this vast desert pushes the limits of life itself. Only a small number of the Afar people call this place home. For generations, they've crossed these salt plains, carving out blocks of salt, just as their ancestors did. The area is known for its volcanoes and extreme heat, regularly soaring past 50 degrees Celsius, 122 Fahrenheit. Rain is almost non-existent, less than a single inch each year. Hidden in Ethiopia's Danakil Desert lies a place few people dare to stay, Dalal. Often described as a ghost town, it's home to the resilient Afar people and a climate unlike anywhere else on Earth. Dalal holds the title for the highest average temperature ever recorded year-round. Between 1960 and 1966, this isolated settlement averaged 94 degrees Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius. Summer offers little relief. The average high reaches 105 degrees, and during the hottest months, temperatures climb to 116 degrees. The highest temperature ever recorded here? 121 degrees Fahrenheit, 49 degrees Celsius. Rain almost never comes. Only a few days each year see measurable precipitation. The brutal heat has a reason. Dalal sits deep below sea level by 430 feet, inside the tropics, close to the Red Sea, and almost never cools down at night. This region was shaped by powerful tectonic forces as Africa slowly pulled away from Asia. More than 500 million years ago, volcanic activity, shifting plates, and erosion carved the foundations of today's Danakil. At times, the sea washed over this land, leaving behind layers of sandstone and farther offshore, limestone. When the land rose again, new layers of sandstone formed on top. Later, eruptions burst through the Earth's crust, covering everything in lava. Even today, volcanoes continue to sculpt the desert's surface. Across the Danakil, lakes sit behind thick walls of cooled lava, valleys once dammed by ancient flows. This entire basin, the Danakil Depression, was once part of the Red Sea itself. As seawater flooded in and evaporated, most recently around 30,000 years ago, it left behind staggering amounts of salt. A resource so abundant, yet so dangerous, that generations of locals have risked their lives to extract it. Hidden in New Zealand's Waimangu Volcanic Rift Valley lies the largest hot spring on the planet, Frying Pan Lake. Formed inside Echo Crater, this lake simmers at a constant 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, its waters tinted and acidic from volcanic gases rising from below. Covering more than 9 acres, it may look shallow, only about 18 feet deep, but beneath a few steaming vents, the ground suddenly drops to nearly 60 feet, where superheated water rises from the Earth itself. Echo Crater was born in the violent 1886 eruption of Mount Tarawera, an event that tore open miles of volcanic rift across New Zealand. Over decades, the crater slowly filled with rain and heated groundwater, until a powerful 1917 eruption reshaped everything, opening the basin that would become Frying Pan Lake. The last major burst came in 1973, erasing nearby terraces, yet leaving behind the surreal colors that still surround the shoreline today. And rising above it all, Cathedral Rocks, a steaming wall of ancient lava sculpted by fire for more than 60,000 years. At Frying Pan Lake, the surface seems to boil, not from heat alone, but from volcanic gases, carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide, constantly rising through the water. The lake averages 55 degrees Celsius, and its waters are surprisingly acidic, with a pH around 3.8. Yet deep below, vents pump in alkaline water, creating shifting chemical layers, mini-worlds where only certain life can survive. Here, entire colors of algae stake their claim: blue-green Mastigoclitus, or the fiery red Cyanidium. Even in a volcanic cauldron, life finds a way. On April 26, 1986, reactor number 4 at a nuclear power plant exploded, shattering the stillness of a Soviet night near the city of Pripyat. What followed became the worst nuclear disaster in human history. This is Chernobyl. One of only 2 events to reach the maximum level on the International Nuclear Event Scale, and the most expensive disaster the world has ever seen. More than 500,000 workers were called in to contain the impossible, at a cost of hundreds of billions of dollars. Chernobyl wasn't just an accident, it was a turning point for the entire nuclear age. The disaster began during a late-night test meant to simulate a cooling failure. Operators pushed forward, despite a sudden drop in reactor power. When they tried to shut the system down, a fatal design flaw triggered a massive power surge instead. In seconds, the reactor tore apart. Steam explosions, a meltdown, and a raging core fire ripped the building open, launching radioactive fallout across the Soviet Union and Europe. Within 36 hours, 49,000 people were evacuated. As contamination spread, the exclusion zone widened to 19 miles, forcing out tens of thousands more, leaving behind a silent, radioactive scar that still stands today. When Reactor 4 exploded, 2 engineers died instantly, and fires burned through the night. Emergency crews battled radioactive flames, many unaware of the deadly exposure. Of 237 workers rushed to hospitals, 134 developed acute radiation syndrome. 28 died within 3 months. More followed in the years to come. Chernobyl remains the only commercial nuclear accident where radiation directly claimed human lives. Thousands of children later developed thyroid cancer, many cases linked to the fallout. Official estimates vary wildly. Some say fewer than 100 deaths, others predict thousands over time. But behind every number is a life rewritten forever by the world's worst nuclear disaster. When Pripyat was evacuated, it was never meant to be temporary. The entire city was abandoned, its people relocated to a new purpose-built town called Slavutich. In late 1986, engineers rushed to seal the ruined reactor inside a massive concrete sarcophagus, trapping radioactive dust and protecting workers in the remaining reactors. Decades later, an even larger shield, the new safe confinement, was slid into place. Its mission is to safely dismantle what's left of Reactor 4, a process expected to continue until at least the year 2065. Rising 15,700 feet above sea level, the highest peak in Europe, dominating the Alps at the border of France and Italy, is Mont Blanc. This iconic massif draws adventurers year-round for hiking, climbing, trail running, skiing, and snowboarding, challenging all who dare to explore its slopes. Most climbers reach the summit via the famous Gouda route, a journey that typically takes 2 days, rewarding them with views few will ever witness. Mont Blanc wasn't just lifted by time, it was forged by fire and ice. These mountains formed from a massive granite intrusion pushed upward during ancient tectonic upheavals over 300 million years ago. The summit lies where 2 different rock worlds collide, fractured by vertical faults and reshaped through countless tectonic shifts. Then came the glaciers, sculpting, carving, and chiseling the massif into the dramatic landscape we see today. a place where over 68 unique minerals now lie hidden within the stone. At the top, the climate becomes its own world. Mont Blanc stands so high that it creates its own weather, shifting in moments from calm skies to violent storms. Temperatures near the peak hover around -4 degrees Fahrenheit, -20 degrees Celsius, locked beneath a permanent ice cap, where powerful winds shape the snow and silence all sound. And yet, the mountain isn't the same from top to bottom. The village of Chamonix below Mont Blanc, rain and snowfall seem modest. But higher up, places like the Col du Midi receive 3 times more. Strangely, near Mont Blanc's summit, precipitation falls again, dry, frozen, and rare. Mont Blanc's beauty comes with a heavy price. Over the decades, thousands of climbers have lost their lives here, more than on any other mountain in the world. Today, around 10 to 20 climbers perish each year, many along the dangerous Gutter route, where loose rock and sudden weather turn a climb into a gamble. Even with modern gear, careful planning, and rescue teams on constant alert, Mont Blanc remains a reminder of nature's unforgiving power. Off the coast of Belize lies one of the most breathtaking mysteries of the ocean: the Great Blue Hole. This massive marine sinkhole stretches 318 meters across and plunges 124 meters deep. It formed during the last ice age, when sea levels were far lower and huge caves lay exposed. Stalactites inside the hole reveal its age, over 153,000 years. When the oceans rose again, the cave flooded, creating the wonder we see today. Now part of the Belize Barrier Reef Reserve System, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Great Blue Hole remains a window into Earth's ancient past, hidden beneath crystal waters. In 2018, 2 submarines ventured into the depths of the Great Blue Hole, using sonar to create the most complete 3D map ever made of its interior. At around 300 feet, they discovered a thick layer of hydrogen sulfide, a toxic barrier where the water turns dark, oxygen disappears, and almost nothing can survive. At the very bottom, the crew found the remains of 2 missing divers, with estimates suggesting that over 100 may have lost their lives here over the years. In eastern California, where the Mojave Desert burns beneath the sun, lies one of the most extreme places on Earth: Death Valley. Here, the hottest temperature ever recorded on the planet, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, was measured in 1913 at Furnace Creek. Although these readings have since been disputed by some modern experts. Death Valley forms the heart of Death Valley National Park, a vast wilderness within the Mojave and Colorado Deserts Biosphere Reserve, an unforgettable testament to nature's raw power. Death Valley is more than a scorching desert. It's a colossal graben, a block of land dropped between 2 mountain ranges along shifting faults and fractures. At the southern end of a great geological corridor called Walker Lane, this valley is sliced by the Death Valley and Furnace Creek faults, with the mighty Garlock Fault joining from the east. Furnace Creek and the Amargosa River flow into the valley, then disappear into the sands, leaving behind vast salt pans that shimmer in the heat. During the Pleistocene, over 10,000 years ago, an enormous lake called Lake Manly filled this basin, stretching nearly 100 miles long and 600 feet deep. Today, the water is gone, but the land still remembers. Death Valley is one of the driest places on Earth because it sits in the rain shadow of 4 massive mountain ranges. As storms travel east from the Pacific, they're forced up over each range, cooling and dropping their moisture long before they ever reach the valley. By the time the air arrives here, it's almost completely dry. Its extreme heat comes from a perfect combination: intense solar radiation, heat trapped between steep valley walls, warm air flowing in from surrounding deserts, and fierce winds pushed down from the mountains. Together, they create a furnace unlike anywhere else on the planet. Despite the crushing heat, Death Valley is alive. Each spring, snowmelt brings a burst of wildflowers, painting the valley floor in color. Bighorn sheep roam the mountains, red-tailed hawks hunt the skies, and more than 600 springs and ponds hide throughout the desert. At Salt Creek, tiny pupfish survive, ancient relics from a time when this valley was filled with lakes. And on the western edge, Darwin Falls drops 100 feet into a lush oasis of willows and cottonwoods, home to over 80 species of birds. Sometimes, after rain dissolves hidden salts, the ground blooms with salt flowers, a sparkling illusion, like snow in the hottest place on Earth. For over 1,000 years, the Timbisha people, a tribe of Native Americans, have called this valley home. Their name for it, Tumpisa, meaning rock paint, which comes from the red clay they once used for ochre. Some Timbisha families still live here today, continuing traditions in one of the harshest landscapes on Earth. The English name, Death Valley, emerged during the gold rush of 1849 when a group of pioneers became lost while looking for a shortcut to the gold fields. They believed they would all die here, though only one actually did. Still, the name remained, a chilling reminder of just how unforgiving this valley can be. Hidden in northern Tanzania, there's a lake unlike any other on Earth. Shallow, scorching, and infused with minerals from volcanic rock. This is Lake Natron. Its waters can reach 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius, and evaporation leaves behind powerful salts that push natron's pH above 12, turning it into a caustic alkaline mirror. Here, anything that doesn't survive the lake's chemistry becomes calcified, preserved in stone, as if time itself refuses to let go. Lake Natron's colors aren't just beautiful, they're alive. As the water evaporates, salinity rises, and strange salt-loving microorganisms take over. Among them are cyanobacteria, tiny survivors that turn sunlight into life. Their pigments stain the deep water red, and the shallows orange, even tinting the salt crust itself pink. Yet around this hostile shoreline, freshwater marshes still grow, life clinging to the very edge of the impossible. Most life can't survive Lake Natron's searing heat and caustic waters, but somehow, life still finds a way. Here, the world's only regular breeding ground for nearly 2.5 million lesser flamingos rises from evaporating salt islands, protected by the very chemicals that would destroy most living things. As the lake grows saltier, cyanobacteria bloom, turning the water red and feeding the flamingos that depend entirely on this alien oasis. Even fish, 3 species of alkaline tilapia, thrive on the lake's steaming edges, living where hot springs meet poisoned water. In a land designed to repel life, Natron shelters a kingdom found nowhere else on Earth. The shores of Lake Natron are nearly untouched by people. But that isolation is changing. Logging upstream, a proposed hydroelectric dam, and new silt flowing into the water threaten the lake's delicate chemistry, the chemistry that makes it the only safe nesting ground for East Africa's flamingos. Now an even greater danger looms. A massive soda ash plant, workers' housing, even a coal-fired power station, all proposed right along this fragile lake. To operate, the factory would pump water directly from Natron itself. Conservationists warn that it could destroy the flamingo's birthplace entirely. 75% of the world's lesser flamingos begin their lives here. If Natron collapses, this species could vanish from East Africa. Today, dozens of conservation groups are fighting to protect one of the most extraordinary breeding grounds on Earth before it disappears forever. Hidden deep in Siberia, surrounded by endless mountains of ice, lies a village unlike any other place on Earth, a place so cold your breath freezes the moment it leaves your lips. This is Oymyakon, a remote settlement in Russia's Sakha Republic. and it holds a chilling record, the coldest permanently inhabited place on the planet. Oymyakon isn't just cold because it's in Siberia, it's colder because it's trapped. Two deep valleys surround the settlement, locking in frigid air like a natural freezer. Here, winter dominates most of the year. Temperatures often plunge below freezing by late September, and don't climb back above zero until mid-April. In fact, the town has never recorded a single above-freezing day between late October and mid-March. On the coldest years, even the average temperature of winter drops below minus 50 degrees Celsius. January of 1931 reached a staggering monthly mean of minus 54 degrees Celsius, one of the coldest ever recorded for human life. This is life at the edge of what humans can endure. In the far north of Namibia, where the Atlantic meets the Namib Desert, lies a coastline so harsh and remote it earned a terrifying name: the Skeleton Coast. Indigenous San people once called it the land God made in anger. Portuguese sailors feared it as the gates of hell. Here, the cold Benguela current creates thick ocean fog for much of the year, while powerful winds blast the shore. Rain is almost non-existent, and the heavy surf has trapped countless ships throughout history. The landscape shifts from soft sands and rocky outcrops to vast gravel plains and towering dunes. Once stranded here, sailors found themselves facing a brutal choice: walk into the desert or never leave. The name Skeleton Coast once came from the whale and seal bones that scattered these shores during the whaling era, but today it's the remains of shipwrecks that define this desolate place. More than 1,000 ships, caught by hidden rocks and blinding fog, now rust along the coastline, silent reminders of those never able to escape. The name was popularized in 1944 when author John Henry Marsh told the story of the doomed ship Dunedin Star. Since then, the world has known this wild shoreline by a single unforgettable name: the Skeleton Coast. Among the oldest shipwrecks along the Skeleton Coast lies the Bom Jesus, stranded here in the 1530s, one of the earliest wrecks discovered in all of sub-Saharan Africa. The sea continued its grim history. In 1942, the cargo liner Dunedin Star ran aground. All 106 aboard were rescued, though a tug, an aircraft, and 2 men were lost in the attempt. And even today, the ocean claims its victims. In 2018, a Japanese vessel went down near Darissa Bay. All 24 crew members were saved, but the wreck remains, another skeleton left on the shore. Evidence of earlier human life appears too. Ancient shell middens from the strandlopers, coastal people who once survived here by the ocean's edge.